Welcome to Your Radiant Spirit, a space for the conversations and colors that help you see yourself more clearly. I'm Heather Eck, an intuitive artist and guide, and I believe your soul speaks in the ways the mind can't always put into words, through color, energy, and the stories your body holds. This show is where we explore those messages. Through personal stories, deep conversations, and creative insight, we'll uncover what's been hidden, release what no longer serves, and begin to imagine what's possible when you live in full alignment with who you're meant to be. What you hear here is more than inspiration, it's an opening, a chance to feel the shift that could change everything. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into today's conversation. Welcome back to Your Radiant Spirit. I'm your host, Heather Eck, and today I have someone really special with me. Brenda L. Balding is a registered nurse of 50 years and a Reiki energy healer. She's also an author, spiritual guide, and self-discovery expert. Brenda is passionate about being in service to others and guides you on your path through some of life's challenges. Her focus via Love's Inner Voice is to support your self-discovery heart journey related to grief, acceptance, forgiveness, and others, as well as acknowledging emotions and feelings that show up along the way. Her mission is to encourage each person to enhance their own love's inner voice, their sacred connection for the greatest good of all. Brenda is an author of many books. Discovery is Vital, Awaken Love's Inner Voice, which is out now on Amazon.com. Discovery is Recovery, Brain, Emotion, and Spiritual Self-Reflection through the Creative Process and Sacred Connection. Finding Our Path to Deeper Connection with Self and the Divine. An anthology that includes her article, Sacred Discovery. All of these are available on Amazon, and I'll include all of that in the show notes for you. But please join me in welcoming Brenda to the show. Brenda, I'm so happy that you're here with me today.
Oh, Heather, thank you. I am so blessed to be with you as well and your audience. It's so much fun for me.
Well, that's great. I'm so happy to be able to share you with the audience too. What I love about your work is this idea of love's inner voice. And I would love for you to just start by sharing your story and how you got to where you are today and how you felt called to kind of step into this deeper work of love's inner voice and when that started to speak to you.
Well, thank you for asking, Heather. And I've been doing spiritual work sort of unconsciously. You know how we do things, we're not really conscious of it.
Yeah.
In my healing since I was in my early 20s. And as a nurse, I was doing healing. My hands would get really warm when I'd be giving back rubs, and patients would feel so much better the next day. They needed
Hmm.
less pain medication. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was a conduit to help people heal. I realized I was doing that when I became a Reiki healer 3 or 4 years ago, became a level 2 Reiki healer. And I said, this is familiar energy to me. And my instructor said, tell me. So I told her, and she says, oh, you've been doing this your whole life, haven't you? So it like was a surprise for both of us. And yet, even talking about it, my hands are tingling
Oh,
because
wow.
I do assist people to move out energy that does not serve them
Uh-huh.
and to teach them how to bring in energy that does, from source, from God, from creator, whatever we want to call that loving light energy.
Hmm.
And so I really, when I retired from my active nursing career in my mid to late 60s, um, I kind of went dormant for about 3 years because I didn't know what to do. It was not a forced retirement, but I got a year's salary if I retired then later. So I went, okay. And then all of a sudden, I was in a class with a friend, and she said, you've got something to share. She read my energy. And that's when I started working on Discovery is Recovery.
Oh, wow.
And then in March of 24 was a celebration of my mom's 5th year after her death at 93. My dad was still alive and he was 90, almost 98. And I noticed he started fading, and I needed to kind of block myself off from that. So I became a TV host for Diane Forster. And originally, I was going to call the show 12-Step Living because I believe in the 12 steps. But I thought, no, that's too narrow. People will look at it in fear. And all of a sudden, I was given Love's Inner Voice
Oh, wow.
because it's about learning to listen to our inner voice of love, our intuition that we get from Source, to listen to the challenges. I call them challenges that come up in life because they're
Mm-hmm.
always there for me to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
The strong emotions that come up, the grief from when my father died in December last year. And it's, a wonderful thing when I can look at it from a strong, loving energy place than a deep, dark energy place. And to me, that's what awakening or enhancing love's inner voice is all about.
I love that. I have a couple questions that are coming up for me, but I want to start with one that kind of goes back to your childhood, which is
Mhm.
to ask if that Reiki healing energy was with you as a young child, if you remember playing with or sort of like play acting with your hands to heal things, and then what moved you into wanting to become a registered nurse then?
Thank you for the question. I do not remember doing like wanting to heal my dolls or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. However, I am the eldest of seven, and the youngest is 8 years and a month younger than I am. So my mother was very busy. So I was always the caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for your younger brothers and sisters every time I left the house. You're the caregiver.
Mm,
You're the one that helps with I had sisters that didn't like that, but that's what I was told to do. So in essence, I became a second mom. And so I've been healing, but what took me mostly into nursing was I had an aunt, one of my mother's youngest sister, who was a nurse, and she was married to a surgeon, and they were missionaries in Africa 3 or 4 times in their life.
wow.
And I was just drawn to them. I knew that I needed to do that kind of healing. I was offered to go to Africa after my freshman year in college, and I didn't think I was ready. I didn't go. I work at not being regretful about that. My uncle fully accepted my reasoning, and I feel like I've honored them by doing the work that I've been doing and doing the work I'm doing now.
Yeah. I like what you said there. You work at not being regretful of that. Like
Yeah,
it's still something that comes up for you where you still have to work at it, work at that
yep,
feeling.
yeah. Honor it and
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, it's okay. Look at all the things you did in place of that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how you're being of service now.
That's so powerful too, because it's like you're offering yourself this space and this grace and acceptance of where you were at the time and how that path didn't, it didn't go away from you. That path just circled back around later at a different time when maybe you had a bit more energy for it now.
Yeah, yes.
I really love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
You mentioned you lost your dad. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And that you have had to sort of work through the the love and the challenges that came from that and not lean into the darkness or the sadness that came from that too. And I hear that and I think love is the strongest and the most like the highest vibration energy that we
Mhm,
have.
mhm.
But I also think there's sometimes people think of like what's it called? Toxic positivity, right? Where you're like, oh, just focus on the good things. Just stay positive. It's fine. So when I heard you say that, it made me go, oh wow, I can see how this could be misconstrued by somebody if you're not actively doing the work of trying to listen to your inner voice, if you're not listening to God or the universe helping support you through those challenging times, it's not then toxic. It's actually strongly supportive, but you have to sort of know how to recognize the difference between those two things. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Thank you. For me, it's about acknowledging the feeling that's coming up, the
Mm-hmm.
grief or the should or the worry or the fear or whatever it is that's coming up, and saying, "Oh, I see you.
Mm.
I recognize you. Where are you coming from? What message am I missing that you're showing up?" And the biggest thing that I get to remember, because we have good forgetters, at least I do, I can raise my hand
Yeah.
to that, is to pause. And I love heart math, so I take a heart breath and just calm my body down
Mm-hmm.
so that then I can listen to what is going on and what is the message that that feeling that's coming up for me needs to be addressed.
Mm.
Because sometimes it's something that I've been ignoring because it's uncomfortable, or I'm stuffing it down with food or TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden it's going, I need to be seen.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
need to be heard. And so when I realized that with my grief with my dad, I mean, I had him for more than three-quarters of a century.
Wow.
And I realized that my grief is something that is there every day. It's a gift from source, from higher power, from the divine. For me, all the feelings are. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them are protectors to say, you might want to take a look at this. Some of them are there to allow the body to just feel sensations, to cry, to feel closed in for right now, to feel like we need a hug. I'm good
Mm-hmm.
at hugging myself because I live alone. So I came up with and I love acronyms because they help me work through something. So I came up with an acronym for grief for me:
Mm.
grateful, rebirthing, internal energy flow.
Wow. Grateful.
Grateful, rebirthing, internal energy flow. To me, I needed to rebirth how my flow, how I'm going to live life now with both my parents on the other side, because I was very active in his last 5 years after my mom died with finances and telephone calls and visits and that kind of stuff. So um, that's gone.
Mm.
And I recently, the family, my parents bought some timeshares up at Lake Tahoe, California. I'm in Northern California. And we've been going there. This was our 52nd year.
Wow.
And I almost didn't want to go because my dad wasn't, his energy wasn't going to be there. And I thought, and I talked, with different people about this. And one person was very wise. And she said, if you don't go, you may never go again.
Oh, wow.
And I went, yeah, I need to go. And we talked about dad. We laughed about dad. We talked about mom, because this was the first time that my siblings were together since my dad's funeral. And I have siblings that live in Washington and Oregon. So they all came down, they usually do, and in Central California. And we had 5 of the 7 us together. We always do at Tahoe. The other 2 are unable to attend because of health reasons.
Mm.
Um, and it was magical and it was freeing. So I'm really glad that I went, and I've been doing the rebirthing and allowing the internal flow into Love's Inner Voice to take effect with that rebirth.
Mhm. I think that's such a beautiful acronym, and I love the idea of rebirthing because I think I have a really good friend who just lost her mom, and I think what she's working through right now is how does she do things again
Yes,
without her? And
yes,
so it is a
yes,
rebirthing. It's a
yes,
recreation of these what's the word I'm looking for? Traditions and these ways of
yeah,
being and,
yep,
little routines that are different now that you have
right,
to both grieve and then bring new life to in a different way.
yeah,
And I think for spiritual people, we, like you said, he's not there in spirit, but they're still there energetically. They're still just as close as they were.
right.
We can tune into their energy. We can feel them. We get signs from them. But we have to be curious about it and we have to explore. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love the titles of your books so much, the discovery part, because it sounds to me like there's this really deep exploration that you invite us to do to find and sort of excavate that inner voice that we have that comes from pure love, comes from pure source, that when we can tune into it, is actively working to help us.
Thank you for saying that. And I'm hoping too that the little bit of my life that is in Discovery is Vital, which is different than Discovery is Recovery, um, is that people can maybe look at it and read it and go, oh, I've experienced that. I never saw that experience in that way. That's going to really help me let go. Or
Hmm.
in the questions that I ask at the end that they can ponder and write about. And I use quotes and I use antonyms and synonyms because sometimes a word doesn't resonate with somebody like it did with me.
Hmm.
So if the synonyms are there, they can choose a different word and replace the should or the enthusiasm or the
Yeah.
acceptance or whatever word is
Yeah.
there. And I put the antonyms in because what I noticed for myself is, oh, when I read the antonyms, I felt that before. That's what it is when
Mm.
I'm not this. When I have trouble forgiving, this is where I am. So it's all part of learning how I think and assisting others to figure out how they think and how
Hmm.
they feel.
Yeah. I think that's so important. I feel like, especially recently, and I think since COVID, there was this word that was floating around. I think it was languishing. So many of us were languishing,
Yeah,
and we were not connected to how we really felt about things. We didn't fully express our emotions, but we did a lot of numbing. We did a lot
yeah,
of numbing through, you look at the alcohol sales that went up through COVID and you look at, all the different hobbies and everything. But I think what a lot of us forgot to do was just sort of tune in and check in to our emotions and how we felt. And there's so much out there now in social media talking about the nervous system and what's happening
right.
with our nervous systems. And so your work really taps into our emotions and how our emotions play a role in our own self-discovery. So for people out there who have sort of disconnected from how they feel, or we've been taught to like pack it up in a little box and stuff it way down,
Right, right.
what are some of the tools that you can share to help us reconnect with ourself and our emotions in that self-discovery place?
Well, one of the tools is, and I mentioned it before, is to do heart breathing. And I don't know if you know about heart math,
I
And I
do, yeah.
highly encourage you to check out Heart Math. It is scientifically based.
Mhm.
It's science, but I love doing a heart breath because it calms my body down.
Mm.
And it's just breathing in, I say, breathing in light and love from source, or whatever name you want to call that beautiful energy. Breathe in through your nose, down into your heart to the count of 4, down into your central space. And as you breathe out anything that you're ready to let go of back
Mm.
into that loving light. And just do that 3 or 4 times, and it calms your body right down so that then you can go, "Oh." And then I love the word pause because of an acronym that I love acronyms, as I said. And the P can be perhaps or pray if you're into praying, but perhaps another unseen solution exists.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, that just gave me chills.
And it's like, we don't know everything. I don't know everything. And that's why there's a lot of us out there that talk about spirituality, that talk about connection. And we all bring it from a different perspective and assist people to travel that journey in the way that best suits them.
Mhm. I gotta go back to this acronym for pause because
Mhm.
I'm sitting here processing it as you're talking. So perhaps or pray, another unseen solution exists.
Right. Or unknown, if you like that
Unknown,
word,
yeah.
solution exists.
That is such a powerful acronym. I hope that you've
Mhm.
trademarked it.
No, nope, it's not trademark. It
I'm
was
just
shared with
teasing.
me by somebody else, and I've changed some of the words
Yeah.
because of what it means to me. There's another one that I really love because, and it was shared with me by Aunt Jonas, who was the instigator of Sacred Connection.
Mhm.
And she says, I said I didn't like work. I didn't like to consider when I'm doing work because the word work is such a heavy energy for me. She says, well, change it to job. And I go, okay, why change it to job? Because she says, job is the joy of being.
I love Anne.
J-O-B, the
The
joy
joy.
of being. And she said, share it around there. So I do, because it really is, that's what we're here for, is to walk in the joy of being the most authentic, loving, caring, kind person we can be.
Mhm. Yeah. I love that. I love that. It also goes, I hear this sometimes too. We are human beings, not human doings.
Yes, yes, yes.
But it's so
And we get
hard.
so stuck in the doing. I have to do this. I have to do that. If only this, if only that. And the if onlys can be just as bad as the shoulds.
As the shoulds. Let's talk about the shoulds for a minute because you and I connected on the shoulds, in I'll say the green room before we started recording. Um, I have heard this too, like don't should all over yourself. And you had mentioned that as well. You have to help teach people that they don't have to should. So can you tell us what that means to you, in your
Oh,
job, in your joy of being? I was going
well,
to say work, and I was like, let's pivot.
in my job,
In your job.
I have a chapter on should, discover should, in the Discovery is Vital. And one of the things that I got stuck in is a year ago, April, I got taken for quite a bit of money because I believed someone was telling me the truth.
Oh,
And some of it was my dad's money. I was able to replace it. And I kept going afterwards. Brenda, you should have listened to your gut. Brenda, why didn't you listen to your gut? Brenda, you should have known this. You have a master's degree. Why didn't you catch on? Brenda, you should have, you know,
Yeah.
listened to whoever, your experience and all of that, because it was over 5 days I gave this person that
Oh.
attention. And so I was shooting myself for a while about
Mhm.
that. I've shooted myself over my life about my ex-husband and some of the things that he did during my 7-year marriage. I've shooted myself occasionally about not going to Africa when my aunt and uncle asked me to join them. It doesn't get me anywhere and it
Mhm.
keeps me stuck.
Yeah.
And it keeps me in a very narrow focus that's harder for me to hear the divine support, the divine love, to
Mhm.
hearing and feeling that. So, really looking at if my mind starts thinking should, or if I notice I'm starting to say that, I go, Brenda, where is that coming from? What feeling is bringing that up? What is it that you're not addressing out of, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. And once I can start doing that, I get out of the should and I can go, oh, this is what's here for me to learn,
Mhm.
or for me to let go of, or for me to accept. Because a lot of it has to do with things that we have no control over.
That's very true. That's very true. Can you say more about that? The things we don't have control over? Because I think it's 90% of our day.
Well, you know what? The only in my I love the serenity prayer. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if the audience knows the serenity prayer. I encourage you to look it up if you don't. Because it talks about I only have say so over me.
Mhm.
I can't control anybody else out there. I can't control how they react to what I say or who I am. I have siblings that think I'm woo woo and just they're not woo woo people. And
Uh-huh.
that's okay. They, as long as they accept me and love me for who I am, they don't downplay me. They don't, at least not to me.
Mhm.
And how they feel about me is how they feel about me. And the best thing I can do is honor that,
Yeah.
thank them for that. Or if somebody says, I don't really like how you said that. Oh, thank you for sharing that with me. Is there anything else you'd like to say about that?
Mm.
Or sometimes my daughter taught me this, and she'll go, "Mother," when I start attempting to fix something or to give my opinion about something. So now I take a breath when I'm feeling something like I need to say something and go, "Julie, would you like my thoughts about that?" And if she says no, I zip it. And a lot of times she does because she's just processing.
Yeah.
So I can't change anybody but me. I think I have power to change everybody. Well, you know what? That's not true.
Oh my gosh, and how much easier is it when you just have to worry about your own self, you know?
Absolutely.
I have a
Absolutely.
my spiritual teacher says, what somebody's opinion of you is none of your business.
That's absolutely right.
Mhm.
That's their business and they can think about me anything I want. If I want to take on that energy of, I don't like what she said, and I feel like a little kid that I just need to talk back. And it's like, wait a minute, Brenda, do I want to sit in that energy?
And the answer is no, you don't want that energy all over
Or
you.
do I want to just love and accept them just as they are?
Mhm.
I may not like how they are responding to me. I may not like what they're saying. That doesn't mean that I can't choose to accept them as they are.
Mhm.
And if I say, thank you for letting me know that, that kind of puts them back like, oh, she didn't react the way I wanted to. Because some people want the energy of upsetness.
Mhm.
And I call them energy feeders. They want that, they need that energy, they need that whatever because they don't know how to get it themselves for
Wow, yeah.
themselves from higher power
Mhm.
or the divine because they don't believe in it.
That's so true. I'm just thinking about a recent situation where this person I was drawing a boundary and this person pushed back on my boundary and I felt so fired up about it. I was like, "Ugh, you know, this is so rude. Why can't they just respect how I feel about something?" And then I just, there was nothing to be gained from going back with a response. I just sort of said, "You know what? I'm just going to let them sit in that. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
That's on them. If they want to feel
Yeah,
that way, that's on them. If they aren't
right.
willing to be open to respecting someone's boundary." And I think for me too, because I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I think for most of my
Mm,
life, I felt responsible for how other people felt.
yes,
That it's been, hard for me now in my 40s to learn how to regulate my own emotions, but then also to know that I'm not responsible for how other people feel. And if they were upset about me drawing a boundary, which was right for me, that I have to let them feel the way they need to feel. And I'm not
right,
responsible for that.
right.
Um,
And one of the best things we can say is, thank you for letting me know that.
yes.
And, that's just gonna, it's like, what do I say to
Uh-huh. It sort of
them?
diffuses the
It does, it
situation.
diffuses. And the other thing that I like about saying something like that is I'm giving that person a response. It's not the response they were expecting, but it's also a very neutral, compassionate response.
Hmm.
And maybe they don't know how to feel that.
Hmm.
Maybe all they've ever had in their experience for their safety is to pounce.
Hmm. Yeah. It's
And
like
so
a
that's a
tiger
way
response.
of mentoring people to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. I don't even remember what it was. But I'm enjoying the conversation. Um, what I like about your work as a nurse and also as a Reiki healer, I actually have a couple of friends in my orbit who are retired nurses or PAs who are also now Reiki healers.
Mhm.
And I think it's so interesting because, well, number one, they give the best hugs I've ever had in my life. I think there's something really special about a hug from a healer that is um, unparalleled to other hugs. But also, I feel like they've always been healers and they're learning different modalities for healing. That is
Yes.
so amazing. So can you talk about your work as a Reiki energy healer and how it helps support our emotional and spiritual healing and how you work with people now with it?
Well, surprising to to many people, I do Reiki healing on Zoom to
Hmm.
whoever needs it. I don't care how far away they are. They can be in Australia. I have friends in Australia. They can be in Africa. And most people have always believed that Reiki is touch,
Mm.
and it can be touch. And a lot of times it is touch. My instructor for Reiki healing was on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
I did not go to see her in person. We've never met in person. We've only met on Zoom. And yet, because this healing modality is energy, it can go anywhere when we focus it.
Hmm.
And part of learning Reiki level 1 and level 2, I'm level 2, is that we learn how to focus it on the person that we're healing, or if it's a group, I tend to prefer one-to-one, and what it is that they need focus on in this moment. And it whatever that is, physical, emotional, psychologically, spiritually, that's the whole person. And I ask the divine feminine, because Reiki is primarily divine feminine, to heal the person where and how that person needs to be healed in this moment of time.
Hmm.
And so when I visit with people afterwards, because I visit with people before, I give them a 10 or 15-minute healing, depending on what the need is. I let the divine decide how long it's
Hmm.
going to be. And then we do some coming down and some breathing afterwards and some sharing whatever they need to share afterwards, how it went, what messages they got if they want to share them. A lot of times they do, sometimes they don't, and that's fine. Sometimes they get so much that they need to process it.
Yeah.
Not so much that they can't deal with it, just enough that they need to process it for a while because they feel it physically. They also feel the energy in different parts of their body that they need to take a look at.
Hmm.
So it really is about what does the individual person need and how can I be of assistance with divine guidance for them in that moment in time. And
Hmm.
I always get a gift too. The healer always receives a gift in my experience because I'm making myself a conduit. And I usually do a mini meditation before I even get on with the person. Um, and we do some heart breathing and some grounding and, all of that. Whatever it is I feel like they may need to feel comfortable in being open to receive. And I usually get a message along the way.
I was going to ask that if you received messages too, because I love what you said. I think the healer receives a gift as well. And whenever I do a portrait for somebody, I receive just as much healing from their message as they do from their
Yeah,
painting.
right,
And that's just such a really wonderful, like, cycle of love from the universe. I just think that's
right.
so cool.
And
Yeah.
it's different, because my needs are different than the person that I'm healing, but
Hmm.
that's okay. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to be able to let go of comparison
Hmm.
because that's judgment. And I don't want to
Hmm.
live in judgment
Yep.
and I don't want to live in expectations
Yep.
because they don't serve me and they don't serve the person that I'm working with.
And what I love too about being the conduit for this healing is that you really don't have to do anything. You can kind of get out of the way and
Yeah.
let the divine energy or the divine feminine or the universal energy do the work for you. And that's
Yes.
so similar to how I work in my art making too, is that when I try to step in or get involved or try to control, it goes
Yeah.
sideways for me.
Yep. And sometimes it'll go sideways for the other person. And yet what the other person produces could be the answer that was getting in my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I truly am a conduit. Um, and sometimes I don't say anything when I'm doing the healing. Once the healing starts, I let them know when it's starting. And I say there won't be, I don't use music. A lot of healers do, I don't. And I said, it'll be quiet for the next however long.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And it's just quiet.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, because I'm also an energy reader, I can read where stuff is going on in the person's body because I ask if there's any messages that they need to get from me after the healing,
Mm.
that I be told that or
Yeah.
shown that too.
That's powerful too.
To me, that's part of the healing.
I agree with that 100%. Are there any practices that you have daily or weekly that help you stay connected to your inner voice?
Mm. Well, I go to quite a few meetings, um, but I also uh, read books that are spiritually guided books.
Hmm.
Um, I listen to Lee Harris. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Well, I feel like I could talk to you for another hour or so, but I want to be,
Yes, we probably could.
I know, but I want to be cognizant of your time. And I want to ask you, where can people find you online and how can they work with you?
Well, if they put my name, Brenda L. Balding, in Amazon, they'll find my books. If they put Brenda L. Balding in Google, they'll find my Facebook, my LinkedIn, all of that kind of stuff. I also have a link tree, www.2.com. So that's how they can find me. I'm also a member of heal.me, which is
Hmm.
a website that has holistic healers, and my Reiki and my coaching or spiritual guide information is all on there. If you want to work with me, I have 6 week sessions, an hour long, for 6 weeks, or 12-week sessions, an hour long. And I'm willing to walk with them through the discovery is recovery or the discovery is vital, reading it together and using them as workbooks to assist them on their journey.
Hmm.
Because some people like to have something to hold that they can then write in, or and have somebody assist them to walk through these things. Because in discovery is recovery, there's things like honesty
Yeah.
and hope and faith and courage. And a lot of those words have, we always the other opposite, dishonesty or lack of faith or
Hmm.
lack of hope, hopeless shows up. And how do we deal with that?
Yeah.
And so when they have someone that can walk through that with them, they just blossom even into a more beautiful blossom.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Brenda. I've loved chatting with you today, and I'll put all this information in the show notes so people can find you and your books and how to work with
Thank
you
you.
online. And thank you for sharing your love's inner voice with us today. Your energy is so calming and healing, and I'm sure anyone would be very, very lucky to get to work with you.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for inviting me. I've had so much fun.
Good. Thank you for joining me today on Your Radiant Spirit. Every conversation here is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to listen to what your soul has been whispering, and to step into the life you've been longing for. If you're ready to go deeper, to work in a way that's personal, creative, and profoundly transformative, you'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. Whether it's through art, a guided session, or a fully immersive journey, you'll discover a space where your truth is seen and your next chapter begins. If this episode spoke to you, it would mean the world if you shared it with a friend, left a review, or subscribed so more people can discover the conversations we have here. Until next time, my friend, keep noticing the colors, the moments, and the nudges. They're all leading you home. And for now, take a breath, hold on to what resonated, and carry it with you into the rest of your day. Thanks for listening.